You are listening to the Starter Girls podcast with Amy Lafitte
and Jennifer Loading.
And whether you are starting a project, starting a business, starting a brand, or starting a movement, we are here to talk about it. So I'm really excited about some crazy things that have been happening in my life this last week. I can't wait to share, but Jennifer, I'd love to hear from you first. Like, what has been going on in your crazy week?
Well, I think my entire week has been centered around my birthday because last Thursday, it's kind of funny. Last Thursday was my birthday, and that particular day, my daughter Paige had sent me not one, but 2 boxes of Tiff's treats. And for our local people, they know what that is. It's like cookies and brownies. And so she sends me this box of goodies, and in there were not 1 brownie, not 2 brownies, like 3 brownies that have like 4 brownies within a brownie, right? And then a box of these amazing peanut butter cookies and white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, right? So I started my day off, and I'm like, this is exciting. I've got these amazing, goodies here. And so that night we went to the Keg Steakhouse, which is a steakhouse here, amazing food. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have this steak and I'm going to be done. No more dessert. No more dessert. And I'm going somewhere with this. So, when you go in there, they ask you, what are you celebrating, right? And so, of course, Ryan says, well, it's her birthday. And I'm thinking, no. No. And so just as I think we're going to get out of there, he'd asked me if I wanted ice cream that night. And I'm like, no, I've been eating brownies and cookies all day. Like, I'm done with food today. They come and they bring me this mocha ice cream cake on top of an Oreo cookie drizzled in chocolate and caramel.
Wow.
Right? And so what do you do with that? Like, you have to
I'm like, send it back to the kitchen.
Exactly. So that night I went home and I was like, that's it. Tomorrow's fast day. Right? Tomorrow's going to be fast day, and I'm running. And so most of the people that know me know that I exercise every day. They know that I'm a former runner, but it's been a minute since I've run consecutively for more than a day. And so from that day up until today, I'm on like day 5 of running. I'm still working those cookies off. And that dessert. So this morning I was talking about it. I'm like, maybe I should do another goal a different running goal. Like Paige had this goal at one time where she was going to run like 365 days, and I think she did it. Ended up running 365 days. And I said, well, maybe I should do that and not worry about the mileage. I'll just run.
Yeah.
So that was my big week. And then I went shopping, which I never do. I went shopping this past week.
Yeah.
And discovered.
Wait, did you like it?
No, I don't like to shop.
I know. I thought maybe you did because you went.
No, but you can go on like mission shopping though.
That's what I did. Leslie. I did. I had these and as cheesy as this is, I like going into Kohl's when they give me like the birthday bucks. And so I had like these birthday bucks and these anniversary bucks to use, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to spend them. It's my birthday. And then I had this gift card, and so I found these things called Cuddle Duds.
What?
Yeah, Cuddle Duds. It's like layered clothing, so my Facebook friends can see it. It's like layered clothing. I'm like, this is so Jennifer style.
It's
layered
so are
clothing.
You wearing the haul?
Yeah, it's 2 shirts. Yeah,
it's
like
super
two shirts. It's like, and I got these leggings, and I'm like, pair those with some boots and a faux leather jacket, and you're like ready to roll, right? So my whole week has been wrapped around that, and so it's been fun and interesting. And I did day 5 of my running today. My legs were tired. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. But what about you, Amy? What's been happening in your week? I know you've been swimming.
I've been doing this like Coldwater Immersion. So crazy enough, like I've been really focusing on my health this fall. Like, I mean, I always focus on my health, but I've just had like these issues from a car accident I had when I was like 23, and they were just never resolved. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a trainer, and I've been going to my chiropractor. I've been going to like a special muscle guy, and so I've gotten a lot of progress, but still kind of not exactly where I need to be. And so I was talking with my trainer, who is like in his late 60s and looks like when he walks around and he looks like he's like a 40-year-old man. Like he's like a 40-year-old athlete. Let me say that. He's amazing. So I always joke actually, because I don't know if you ever followed like Cindy Crawford when she did her fitness stuff in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
But she had her trainer Radu. And so my trainer is called Rudy, and I'm like, so like this time tiny little guy who's like in amazing shape, and all you can do is hope that you're going to be like exactly like that when you're older. And so he's like, yeah, I started doing, he said, and we've been talking about it for a while, but he said he would jump in the cold water and then he would go and jump in the spot, doing like the cold, hot. And he said, it's really good for your fascia. It actually helps with your pain tolerance. It actually helps, with just injuries. And he's like, I've gotten a lot of release from it. And he was telling me on Friday when we were training, he said, yeah, there's this guy who is like a motorcycle guy and does like all of the competitions and crashes on the course, like tons of crashes, tons of injuries. Like he's probably in his like 30s and he's like decrepitly walking to the pool. and Rudy said he talked to him and he said, that's my secret, is I use it as my recovery of doing the hot, cold. And he said, I can get to the place where I can then get back on he's like, are you done then? And he's like, no, I do it so I can get back on the motorcycle because I love it that much. And so I was like, it was one of those like pivotal conversations where a seed had been planted probably back in like 2012. And then we talked about it once before. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. And so Saturday, I did it.
And we saw the video.
I did. I was like, you know what? This is kind of epic. Like, who in like November is like, let's go get in the pool, right? So I did. I just took video of it because I didn't want to Facebook Live it because I didn't know how bad it was going to be or whatever. I'm like, well, that way I can always just not do it. And so anyway, I did it, and it was like crazy, I mean, like it was super cold. I will say it was, sunny outside, and I think that does make a big difference. I've decided I'm not going to do it on days it's not sunny because it's like a whole different level. But I did. I got in, and it was crazy. And I didn't just dunk once. I dunked like twice. And I've been doing it every day since, actually. And then I found some protocols that I remember hearing about, like Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Body. He has this whole like 20-minute protocol where you do an ice bath, and his is actually more extreme. You put 2 big bags of ice in a bath and then submerge yourself up to like 20 minutes. And he's like, it causes like convulsive shivering. Like, oh good Lord. So I did a version of that, but I just did it at my pool, and it's not as cold as like what he does. But yeah, I'm really liking it. Weird enough, I did it today. I didn't even think I'd have enough time, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And I got in there and I was like, I'm actually getting used to it. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm like the person that like the worst thing in my life is to be cold. Mm-hmm. So like this is like a big, chicken list, getting over, fears and things like that. But it's been so worth it. So, and it does so many amazing things for your health. It's good for your lymphatic system. It's good for your cardiovascular system. It's good for your immune system. It does also help you lose weight, and it changes your body composition. So I was like, hey, bonus.
Well, and I will tell you, my son actually watched this video, but both my son and my daughter are familiar with ice bathing, and they do the ice bags. Of course, they don't stay in that long, obviously. But I will also tell you that Ryan does a cold shower every morning too. So I'm totally familiar with all of this. Do I do it? No. No, but they all do. In fact, there's been a few times I've gone to pick up Paige is in college now, but Sean from school, and he's like, Mom, don't pick me up, I'm ice bathing right now. I'm like, okay, well, how long is that going to last? I don't know. I'll call you when I'm done. It'll last long. But yeah, we're totally familiar with all of that. So kudos to you. That's amazing. And the video we were cracking up. I was like, look at her, we got to watch this. So
oh my gosh, I know, such a weenie. I'm going to look back a month from now and be like, whatever. Like, I can't believe I was like that, But you got to start somewhere, so. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think it is time that we kick off our Starter Girls weekly top 3. And so this week, I thought what we would do, since we have the fabulous Leslie Flores here, and she does Party in a Box, and I'm going to have her talk in just a few minutes, but I thought we would kick this off with what were our favorite holidays as a kid?
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
So, do you want to go first, Amy?
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to do 3 different holidays throughout my life. How about that? Just for fun. So when I was a kid, I think Christmas is magical. Like, even just all the decorations and everything that is happening, it's super exciting just to see all of that. And I remember there were times where I would, as a little girl, like I would go and lay underneath my Christmas tree and look up into it. Did y'all ever do that when you were little?
Oh, yeah.
It's magic. Yes. It's so, and hide, right?
No, I was thinking about the presents under there.
yeah, and so I just remember just thinking that was so fun. Like, I love that period of time. I love that at like this season, as it starts to get a little cold, and then the lights are going up, and I don't know, there's just so much happiness and joy in the season. So I really love that. And then when I was in college, my favorite was Halloween. And I remember, like, I would always have these epic costumes, like a fairy, or like it was always something where I was like, cool, I can wear a tank top, like an angel with like wings, right? And so, like, all October, I'd be like banking, like, okay, it's still warm, it's still warm, it's still warm, it's still warm. And in Texas, like, I don't know what it is, but like the week of Halloween, it always gets cold. And so then I'm like, now I have to be an angel with a white sweater. It was always ruined at that point. But I loved, like, I think back then, like, there were always so many epic parties, and there was so much fun stuff to do, and like everybody would dress up. And we dressed up with, like, I mean, we didn't have any money. So, it's like, oh, I'm a cat, and like I took makeup and put it on my face, and got like the cat ears and the tail, and I wore black, right? I was a black cat, right? I mean, like, but I loved that. So, and now that I'm married, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. It's actually, like, we have everybody come to our house, which is so fun. So both sides of the family come over, and I love Thanksgiving because there's like enough like tradition that, like, there's certain things you do, but then there's also like not so much tradition that it's like stressful. Like, right. It's kind of like you can kind of do whatever you want. And so we do like a potluck, and we have so much fun, and we all watch football and hang out. And my husband is from Detroit, so he's a big Detroit Lions fan. And I didn't know this till I married him, but basically there's always two games on Thanksgiving. There's the Dallas Cowboys and there's the Detroit Lions. I did not know this. So and we like to watch both. So it works out really perfect for us.
Wonderful.
What about you, Jennifer?
So I would say my number 3 would probably be Halloween, and you already knows that I'm a horror flick genre. I love Halloween. It's probably our least most expensive holiday that I get to enjoy, and as a child, I have told the story about how we used to watch scary movies together with my dad, and so I've just always liked that holiday. I just like Halloween. I love dressing up, and I like getting to be able to pretend, and if you want to be scary, and if you want to be a cute cat, that's fine. I did have my mom made this awesome Minnie Mouse costume when I was a kid. I mean, like, full out, the skirt with the polka dots, the ears made out of coat wire hanger and filler. I mean, these were like awesome costumes. In fact, I think I may have even like carried that costume over to adulthood and like embarrassed my kids with it a few times. So, love Halloween. My second one would be Thanksgiving. And mostly when I think about Thanksgiving, I think about, as a child, at that time, I remember both sides of my family, both my mom and my dad's side, coming together. And that was the only holiday where we had the entire family together. In fact, when we went back for my uncle's funeral a couple weeks ago, we were talking about that. Do you remember Thanksgiving? How we used to get my mom's side, the Crockers, together, and then we would get, my dad's side, the Crockers, together, my mom's side, the Foiseys, together, and we'd all come together and have Thanksgiving at my mom's house. And so that would probably be my second one. And now it's a smaller thing, but I do get to see my kids, and I'm excited because Paige is coming home next week, yay, from college. And then my number 1, I would say, as a kid, would have to be Christmas. And you want to know why? Yeah. Because my parents always got us the best Christmas presents ever. Ever. In fact, my mom was so good. Like, I always say this, is that she was like the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, all that. Like, we had the letters, the cookies, the pixie dust, all of it. And I always tell this story, like, I believed in Santa for like a really long time, and I think I was probably like 9 or 10. Like, I was one of the last kids at that time to know. I was so mad at my mom for even telling me that it wasn't real. Aww. Like, it ruined my vision.
We can keep this forever.
Exactly, my magic. I loved it. And then I knew that once I knew that, like, all that fun stuff was going to stop. The milk and cookies, all those things that my mom did, because she had us believing it was for real. Like, she was that good. But we had cool presents. And I was thinking about this the other day. You know how you have those, I'm an early 70s kid, and so I can remember some of these. But I was telling Ryan the other day, I had this life-size. My dad used to get me boy toys, like Hot Wheels. Like, I had boy toys, and then my mom would get me the girl toys. But I had this Marzon robot. And so anybody that's my age might remember this, but it was like a life-size inflatable robot that could move. And it was like the coolest thing ever, but it was like a boy toy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
but you didn't care.
No, I didn't care. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Nobody had one. Like, my dad got me a cool present for Christmas. So those would probably be my 3 when I think of holidays. That and there's still, I mean, Christmas. I love Christmas. I just don't like all the shopping.
Yeah, you're not a shopper.
Not a shopper.
So
Amazon.
I have a question for you. So you were one of the last kids to believe in Santa. None of your classmates that whole entire time ever ruined it for you.
Well, they might have, but you know how I am. Like, I don't want to believe it. I'm like, nope, that Santa Claus is for real. He shows up to my house every year and eats those cookies. Okay, hello. And I've seen pixie dust at my house too, so I know the Tooth Fairy's real too.
See, I have a sad story about this. This is really crazy, and it's fast. But when I was in kindergarten, I got stuck in the elevator with a little boy, and I think there was a little girl with me too. But the little boy decided that it was really important to tell us that Santa was not real, the Easter Bunny was not real, the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. You know, like, all the people were not real. I was 5. So, you know, they kind of ruined it all.
I've been like, excuse me? No. I'm just not having any of that today. Yeah, I'm just not having that today, right? But I have one more funny story I will tell you, and this is awful because my kids milked this for a really long time. And so my son, whenever, speaking of Tooth Fairy, when my son would lose his teeth, like I remember him coming in one day and he's like, Mom, the Tooth Fairy forgot to show up. And I said, Sean, did you email her? Like, you're supposed to send her an email. Oh, let me do that real quick. Let me email the Tooth Fairy so I can make sure she tomorrow.
I love it.
They knew, and they would do that to me all the time. In fact, it started getting to the point where Sean would come in and he's like, Mom, so did you email the Tooth Fairy? Because there's like nothing under my pillow. And I'm like, yeah, let me do that right now. Technology changes. But like, we're just visionaries, right? We're gonna let that go for a while. So anyways.
It's like toothfairyofficial@gmail.com.
Yeah. That's it. Well, this has absolutely been fun. So we need to get our guest on here. I'm super excited to welcome the fabulous Leslie Flores to the podcast. So welcome, Leslie. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. So excited to be here with you lovelies today.
Absolutely. And so I think we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off. And I'm going to, I guess, let Amy start this then with Miss Leslie, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, did you want to intro like what she's all about and everything?
I'm going to let her tell a little bit about it. So she does Party in a Box, but I want to let her tell it so that she can kind of make sure that I don't leave anything out. Leslie's she's amazing.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to start off with like some just fun rapid fire questions just so people can kind of get to know a little bit about you, your personality, all that stuff. So are you a morning person or a night person?
Oh my gosh, I'm a night owl, like through and through.
Okay. I love it. The creative type.
Yes. The creative analytical type. It's crazy.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. That's an interesting combo. Okay. Cat or dog person?
Dog.
Done. Favorite food?
Ooh, that is a hard thing. I mean, I'm a Texas girl, so steak kind of wins, hands down. But mac and cheese is right up there.
Hey, that's even good.
They go together. Absolutely, they go well.
Yeah, match made in heaven.
I love it. So tell us just a little bit about you, like, you know, what you love most about what you do, you know, all the background.
Ooh, okay. So, Texas girl, born and raised, went to school on the East Coast, came back because New England winters are not something that any Texan should be subject to. And now, I did corporate, never saw myself leaving corporate. And random things happen in life. I actually took another corporate job, actually ended up turning it down and started my own company, and I'm completely having the best time in my life building it. I get to spend time meeting amazing people like yourselves, and just feel like I'm actually making an impact versus just making money. Mm-hmm. So I'm having a great time doing it.
That's awesome. Absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit about your company that you're developing? So our listeners know exactly what you do. I didn't want to mess this up. That's why I wanted you to do this.
Mm-hmm. So Moments by Design, it kind of came around. I was on a plane doing corporate travel Tuesday through Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I realized that with doing that, I stopped entertaining. I stopped having all those moments that really mean something, you know, because they're work. It takes a lot of work to put together a party. You know, you want to get the theme right. You want to make sure you got the right goodie bags, like the menu goes. You've got a great playlist, and that all takes work. Well, when you're stuck on a plane Tuesday through Saturday, you don't have any time for that. And the time that you do have, you really don't want to do that. So I had stopped doing that. Moments by Design takes all of that away, so that people like myself who were on a plane all week long can just go pick a theme, and we ship everything straight to the door. Basically, it's all the cups, the plates, the silverware, the decorations. We've put together suggested playlists, suggested food and beverage. So it's all just done. And you get to have those moments without having to go through all the stress of planning it. So
I
we're
love
taking care of
this.
all that.
And there's a really good environmental impact that you have with it too.
There is. We are the only company. When I developed it, I saw that there were other parties in a box out there. A lot of them, their designs are mass produced. They're all being manufactured in China, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's all mass produced paper product. So there's a lot of waste. They're just one and dones. I wanted a more sustainable product, and I wanted something that we were manufacturing here in the States. So we are the only ones that are manufacturing in the States with our own designs, so you'll never find them anywhere else, and we are fully sustainable. So our cups and plates are actually dishwasher safe.
So cool.
I love this. I wish I would have known you when my kids were little.
Oh, yeah.
Because can you imagine? I mean, that is exactly like, I even talk about that with shopping, and that's why I love the Stitch Fix, because I don't like having to shop for all that stuff. For me, that is so convenient because somebody just comes in, they put that together. Here it is. Give you a playlist, tell you what to do. I mean, I love it. You don't have to think at all. It's just all there.
Exactly.
And it lets you put your energy in the places where it needs to be put, right?
Exactly.
Not the planning part. Let somebody that loves doing that do it.
Exactly.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So, Leslie, is there a childhood experience that has impacted who you are or what you do today? Was there anything specific that you obviously talked about being on the plane and the convenience of this party planning, but was there anything that triggered, I guess, as a child that would...
So as a child, I think it was, I am a firm believer that kind of like there's always a reason for kind of everything, right? And things kind of fall into place. So I'm a New Year's Eve baby. So
wow.
My birthday has always been a huge party. And actually, so funny story on this and telling little kids no. I actually started out of school, and it's a small private school. I was a legacy there. My dad and my uncle had gone there. My dad's like booster club president, so my class wins everything. But again, born on New Year's Eve. And before I was one, my parents put me in a little baby pageant, and I won. Yes, I can do the pageant wave.
I love it.
So I won Supreme Princess of the Universe. And my parents didn't tell me that it was for a pageant and that I really wasn't Supreme Princess of the Universe. They told me that I was, and that everybody celebrated my birthday because I was. And that's why there were all these huge parties. So kindergarten comes around, and I'm telling the nuns, bye, have fun celebrating baby Jesus and me. And one of the nuns is like, Leslie, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, sister, don't you and the priest like drink bubbly? Don't you have huge parties? Don't you pop fireworks? Like all these things. And they're like, okay, sweet girl, like when is your birthday? Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, December 31st, sister. The whole world celebrates me because I'm Supreme Princess of the Universe. And then she breaks my little kindergarten heart by telling me about New Year's Eve. So needless to say, I leave the class like in tears. My dad ends up like pulling me out of school, like screaming out a nun.
Oh
like,
no!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
Because he was like, "How dare you ruin the magic?" But yeah, so that kind of led, to, I think because of that and because of my birthday, I've always just loved parties. I've loved entertaining. I've kind of loved doing all those things because it's part of my love language. How I show people that I care for them is by those, putting together these really amazing events. But then when I didn't have time for it, it was kind of like, oh, well, I kind of lost a piece of me.
I love this story. Okay, so tell me the name again. What were they celebrating? What was your name?
Oh, Supreme Princess of the Universe.
I love this. So next time I see you, I'm going to be thinking you're the Supreme Princess of the Universe. I love it, Leslie. That's such a great story. I love it.
It's so awesome.
Story.
I love it. Well, and it's been really cool because I remember like when I met you and we started talking about your business and like what you've already done and the people you partner with and all the nonprofit things you're doing. And then I was like, oh, how long you been in business? And it's like, oh, a couple months. I was like, oh my goodness. So you're a hard charger, like, type A, go after it all the way. So I'm excited about this question. So when you're going after like a project or, a big goal, what is your like experience, your schedule, your thought process? What does that look like for you?
So I'm a planner. I totally put together plans, but I am kind of like, okay, hey, there is a route to success. And if it's kind of worked for me once, it'll probably work 200-300 times, right?
Nice.
So I make sure that I kind of formulate the plan. I have it written down, documented somewhere. I'm a big Excel user, so it's constantly in Excel because I love numbers.
That's awesome.
So I basically have that, and I just go back to it every single time. So I formulate the plan, and it's just, okay, let's see what worked, tweak what didn't work, because obviously you're constantly moving and you're constantly growing and you're constantly learning, or at least you should be, because if not, you're doing something wrong. So it's going back to that, making those revisions, and then going, okay, great. And then pairing up with people that are smarter than me. I never want to be the smartest person in the room, because if I am, then I'm doing something wrong, because having people around me that are smarter, know more than me, have experienced more than me, that's how I grow. So learning and leaning on those people that I'm fortunate enough to meet and saying, okay, here's where I think I'm going. Like, I've got the plan, and not just coming to them with nothing, but hey, I think I'm like 90% there, but what would you recommend, on these kind of minor tweaks, and taking then what they've kind of said and actually implementing it, which sometimes is hard because it may be in direct, with what I think is right. But I'm like, well, there's a reason why, they've done more than I have. So while I may think that it's wrong, it's probably right, and sometimes I just need to swallow up that pride and do what they say.
I love that, Leslie. I love that. What is the hardest thing you've ever had to overcome?
Ooh, a few years ago, I lost a very near and dear friend to suicide, and it was actually the first person that I had ever lost in my life, and that was really, really hard to overcome. It was such a tragic and sudden way to lose somebody, and somebody who I admired, I still admire today, who we as friends all love dearly. And I mean, that was hard to just kind of, and I mean, there is no moving past it. There's dealing with it, there is educating about it, but there's no real just moving and overcoming it.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. I'm going to switch gears on you real quick. What do you like to do for fun?
Ooh, for fun. Okay, so I love my dogs, so playing with them, the hubby, spending time with him, and friends, because again, it's so nice that I'm away from corporate and I actually have time for that now. So, and I'm a big wine drinker as well. So
that's right.
Hey, wine is great.
Right?
That's awesome.
Can fix all things sometimes.
It kind of does.
Yeah. And who is your biggest influencer?
Ooh, for me, it's kind of like there's like kind of an influencer for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who I look up to as far as business-wise go. I mean, you look at some of these amazing women that we have here, like Whitney from Bumble. We're very fortunate at DFW. We've got the CEO and founder of Poopery. These women who have built, Mary Kay, who have built empires from nothing. And I mean, and you see that. So from a female business perspective, I admire them. When I'm just talking about like a person, and this may sound silly, but like Mr. Rogers, when we were kids, like I grew up with Mr. Rogers' show, and who kind of did it. But it's like, hey, won't you be my neighbor? Like, won't you just like be nice to everybody, include everybody, and just kind of not, prejudge everybody? Because sometimes in corporate, you kind of do that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. I love that. Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's a good one for you. What advice would you tell your younger self?
Oh, don't be in such a rush.
Mm.
I was always that kid that wanted to hurry up and grow up and go do, and I'm still that way now, and I still have to like pull myself back and say, okay, just enjoy right now. Like, this moment in time in my business, in my life, is never going to happen again, and so I just need to be present in that. But it's hard because, I would love to tell myself and just kind of pound that into my younger self, because maybe it would actually stick.
Well, interesting, in the book that I'm reading right now, that's one of the chapters, they're talking about that, how we are always looking for like that next big fix. And that's one of the things that I've been really trying to work on, is just enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. And one of the things I think, I really believe, when you do something that you absolutely love doing, whatever that is, and it sounds like this, what you're doing with this party thing, I think this is great. I think this is something you enjoy doing. I think when you enjoy that, it's a little easier to relish in that. You know what I mean? And to go along and look at this as a process and a journey, and not be so hung up on what's going to be the next big thing that's going to come.
Yeah.
But it is hard. I think we're wired, and in this book they talk about that our subconscious is like this. How when we're babies, we relish the moment that we're in when we're children. Babies don't go around going, what's the next thing I'm going to do tomorrow? Like, they just want to walk, and they want to see the sun and the grass and all that stuff. And we look at all that and take it for granted.
Yep.
And it's like those things that used to make us excited are now not enough. So I think that's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know we kind of touched on charity, but what is your charitable cause for the world?
Oh, so, okay, MBD, so our whole goal for Moments by Design is that we get to actually do this to our operational staff. And I'm really excited about this, which is why I'm pushing so hard to have this company grow so quickly. But here within the DFW Metroplex, there's a little bit over 250,000 people that are special needs. Most that are can't hold down corporate jobs, and most are actually on the spectrum. But what we want to do is we actually want to bring them in as our operational staff, especially the people on the spectrum. I mean, packaging our boxes to our planograms, they would hit out of the ballpark 100% out of 100% every single time. So, and it would give them an opportunity and a place to actually have a career, grow, and just kind of have something. I had an unfortunate experience where I had actually brought somebody into corporate America. They wanted a better life, but they had a seizure issue. They just had, and so we ended up having to let them go because they, from a corporate standpoint, they were just like, hey, we can't afford the EMS. Like, we have to call the EMS and this and that. You know, he was just like, I don't need it. And so it was heartbreaking to see that here he was looking for a better life, but he couldn't really have it because something that wasn't his fault. Mm-hmm. And we want to create an environment where, yes, we've kind of got it staffed and we've got it done for people with those. So great, don't worry about it. We've got you covered. And so that is our mission for the long term. And then on the short term, we've been doing a lot of stuff with just with a lot of the school districts. So we just did the Frisco Young Professionals Gala for the Frisco Education Foundation. So we've been working with them for a little bit over a year now. But yeah, so kids and just education, everything, animals, love animals. So we do a lot there too.
I love it. I know. I love that as soon as you had gotten your business up and running, you were looking for a place where you could, you know, use your cause, you know, to support each other. It's really cool.
Thank you. We want to make an impact.
That's awesome, Leslie. If you could be any superhero or character, what would you pick?
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to pick something, and some people may laugh at this, but I kind of feel like it fits my personality. I would be Iron Man. And here is why. Because he's brilliant, right? I mean, there's not a problem that Tony Stark has been faced with that he cannot solve. And so I'm like, if my brain can just be big enough to do that, I don't need a superpower because my superpower is my brain.
Yeah. Solution to every problem.
Exactly.
I like it. Do you have any other questions or anything you want to ask her before we get all the last good details on her?
You know, what is like a question that you wish people would ask you?
Ooh. You know, for me, I think it's what is the difference that you personally see from yourself from like leaving corporate to starting your own thing?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So that'd be amazing. I'd love to hear.
So, and it's funny because I was just meeting with another person last night, and we were talking about this, and I am such a different person than who I was in corporate. And for her, she's met me on the entrepreneur side, so she's like, oh my God, you're always nice and sweet and, you know, giving and helping. And I'm like, you know, but it was interesting because a few months ago, I actually sat down with somebody who knew me in corporate, and she was like, wow, you've changed so much. Like, you're calmer, you're nicer. Like, even my husband was like, oh, you're going to go meet with Leslie and she's going to help you, because in corporate, everybody was used to me just doing, because I was always, sure, I was corporate director of a multi-billion-dollar national, you know, global company, but it was, okay, wait, now I've got to get to VP. Now I've got to get to here. And so it was constantly going, and so there was never that time for me to be, and with the travel, there was never that, let me be familiar with you, let me care about you. And, I mean, so for me, I think it's just been a positive just spin, leaving corporate and going into my own thing and who I get to be. I feel like I'm a better version of myself now.
Absolutely. You have some autonomy and just the ability to do the things that you want to do without the restriction.
Yeah.
Right? I have something I want to ask you that I think would be just kind of fun to know about you.
Shoot.
What's a fun fact about you that maybe we don't know?
Fun fact. The hubby and I have been together 19 years.
Wow. Impressive. Congratulations. How did you guys meet?
So we actually went to the same school, and it was a small Catholic school, 200 kids, 4K to 8th grade. His grandfather, like, picked him and his cousin up every day. We're best friends, his cousin and I, yet we don't know each other.
Wow.
Like, the entire time.
Wow.
My dad's booster club president, his mom's PTC president, still never crossed. So finally, we meet at that school. The alumni always comes back doing summer camp counselors, and I went back and he went back, and that was how we met.
Wow. That's amazing. Awesome, Leslie. That's incredible, because especially in this day and age, it's so hard for relationships, especially when you're young, starting out, and impressive.
Well, thank you. They were definitely tough times.
Yes. All right. Well, is there anything that you want to tell us about your Party in a Box? Anything you want us to know about you, the company? And how do our viewers find you?
Sure. So you can find us at momentsbydesign.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're on Pinterest, so please do. And guys, not only do we have our custom themed party boxes that our graphic designers have created, but we can create any design that you want. And it's not just for your personal parties, but we've been doing corporate branding as well. So you give us a month, and we'll design whatever you want and have it in your hands.
Awesome. Good to know. Next time we try to plan something, we know who to call. Ms. Leslie. Now, we can put your contact information on our feed as well for followers that want to be able to follow this. So, awesome. So what we want to say really quick is to our listeners, if you like our podcast, please give us a review on iTunes. And, of course, you can go to our Facebook page. Just make sure, we know our starter girls with a Z. I always like to say that. And the reason we do that is because we can, right?
Exactly.
We like to be different. We like being different. So we do want to ask, if you do like our podcast, please give us some reviews and do a replay on our Facebook and share our information out there and get it to the people that we think can benefit from it. So we want to thank Leslie for being on the show today. You are amazing as always, and thanks for sharing with us. You're doing great things. We love it. We're going to wrap up with our mantra for the day. It's a great day to be brave. You are not getting any younger. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up and be amazing. Be you, do you. All right, you guys take care. Have an amazing week and be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Okay.